We all want to feel peace in our lives. Peace in our choices, our beliefs, our relationships, and our environment. I've learned that this desired contentment is often found through holding on to less. When we pare down what we own, what we consume, and what we value, we're left with what's intentional, a personalized curation of what is important and true and useful to us. I'm Shannon Leyko, and you're listening to Paring Down, a podcast aimed at helping you declutter not only your home, but any area of your life that's overwhelming. Here, we're having interesting and honest conversations about the physical and mental clutter that drowns out what truly matters to each of us. And together, we'll learn how to pare it all down, not for the sake of perfection or becoming rigid, rather so we can move through life with less overwhelm and more joy, wisdom, and peace. We are back. It is the last episode of the year. I cannot believe that we have already done Christmas and it's about to be 2024 when I am just now getting used to writing 2023 on any documents. We're in that weird stage, like that phase of the year where Christmas is over before New Year's, and we always just talk about how it's a bizarre feeling, like we're kind of like floating in a different universe. And it's true. Like, where are we? Oh, what matters right now? Am I supposed to care about family? Where is my family? Have I left their house? Do I have work? Do I still have a job? Are my children ever going back to school? Do I want them to go back to school? Do I need them to go back to school? The answer to both of those questions is yes. Anyway, so if you're just floating around like I am, welcome to the podcast. I don't plan on making your life any more grounded today, honestly. It's 5:45 on a Tuesday night as I'm recording this. And so for one of the first times, it's actually really beneficial and wise that I set up my podcast in my closet because my children are home while I'm recording, which is not usually the case. Last I checked, my 5-year-old was on the counter making himself dinner. He had gotten frozen chicken nuggets out of the freezer and was proceeding to put them in the microwave for an undisclosed amount of time. But as I slid into our bedroom to come record this, my husband noticed that this was happening. And so I'm just going to assume that got taken care of. Microwave chicken nuggets for the win. Also, my children are wildly independent, and I hope that is a good reflection of me and not a reflection of the fact that I tell them too often to go get their own water. Anyway, so if you hear them, being loud out there because getting into my closet isn't quiet enough of a space in the house, even though it's the quietest one available, much apologies. I would not put it past them to find a way to be heard on this podcast, considering the fact that I could be in a bunker at Camp David with the President of the United States, and somehow my children would puncture the sound barrier so that the bad guys would find us. They would not be welcome in the bunker. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, odds are you're going to hear them, but you're fine. It's fine. We're cool. So, okay, what are we actually here to talk about today? You're like, Shannon, you're correct. You are not grounding me whatsoever in this weird end of the year space, but I did warn you. Okay, so what we're talking about today is what I personally simplified in the year 2023, because hopefully it might give you an idea of what you might want to simplify next year. So this year, some of these things were intentional. Some of them I went into the year being this is going to be simple, or I'm going to do this differently this year. And some of them I just kind of fell into because at different times in the year I was overwhelmed or felt like I needed a change. So let's get into it. I said to myself at the end of 2022, which was both yesterday and apparently a year ago, that I wasn't going to spend a single dime on books in 2023, because when I moved to Florida last year, I became an avid reader. I've always been kind of a reader. My goal is always 12 books a year, one a month. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I didn't. And then when we moved to Florida, as I've talked about and beaten a dead horse with this information, I was very unhappy. I missed Alaska, still do. And so I kind of needed like a form of escape. And I know that sounds bad, but like we all do it in some way or another when we're struggling with our mental health. We like find a coping mechanism, and like some are better than others. And mine was to start reading fiction to just like rest my brain and like escape a little bit. And I read a single book a week for a full year starting last July through like this July or August. And then I've slowed down a little bit. But anyway, the last couple months of last year, I read like 26 books in 4 months or something. And I bought all of them at Target because I fell for consumerism. What can I say? Because I was a wasteful individual. No, we're not going to shame ourselves here, because browsing the book section at Target brought me great joy, and I needed that at that point in my life. So there you go. Good on me. I did what I needed to do. And I turned towards something. It could have been a lot worse, guys. Like I could have picked up some real bad habits. Expensive books. There are worse things. So the point is that by the end of last year, I realized I should maybe not spend our like entire life savings on books, and that we have libraries for a reason. And so that is what I leaned into this year. I just decided I'm going to only get books from the library, even if that means I have to like be a little bit more patient. And so I simplified my book journey. And guess what, y'all? I did not spend a single dime this year on books. And so far, I think my Goodreads count is like 49 books, I think, in 2024. And 100% of them have come from the library. Even really popular books, like Happy Place by Emily Henry was really big this year. Remarkably Bright Creatures, or that one might have been a gift, because I did get some gifts for Christmas last year. I think that one was that. But anyway, the point is I got to have all the books I wanted to read, even like in my book club. They were available at the library. I know that's not the case at every library. I do live in Florida. I think fewer people read here. Okay, that's like probably not a joke I should put into the universe, but whatever. I love all my friends and people in Florida. But, like it's not like the most scholastic state, So anyway, it's been great. I feel so rich, actually. Still don't feel rich, but at least I didn't spend thousands of dollars on books, Driving there became part of my routine. I just loved it. And like my kids are used to that after school. We usually go do a library drop off like once a week. I just, roll up and you drop your books off in the little drive-through container return mailbox kind of thing. Anyway, you just kind of make it part of your routine. It's like 5 minutes out of the way. Which is 5 more minutes that my kids are strapped into their seats and not wreaking havoc, So like, it's great. And then I'd use Goodreads, which is an awesome app, for my TBR pile, my like to be read books, instead of like buying them at Target and then keeping a stack by my bedside, which is not a minimal choice. And like if I did go to Target or Walmart and like wanted to go to the book section just because like they're so pretty and they smell good, then if I saw something I wanted to read, I would just put the title into Goodreads. I have my phone with me and put it on my TBR list, I also used Libby for any audiobooks that I wanted to listen to, which was great. I always search by popularity. That's like one of the filters you can use on Libby, just so you know. Like if I'd put in a title and I couldn't find it, I would just go to popular titles and usually find one that I wanted, like popular and available, I should say. So the other thing I did is that I decluttered everything that I thought I should read from our bookshelf. I was like, wait, why am I holding on to these books that I've held on to for the last 6 years, trying to convince myself I should read them because they're free since I already own them? But I don't like actually really want to read these titles. And if for whatever reason they strike my fancy in the future, I can just get them at the library. Like I don't need to actually hold on to these books or to read anything just because they're, quote, like they're free. I mean, I'm sure at some point I spent money on them, but like I don't need to do that when I could get them for free again at the library, Now our bookshelf is very decluttered, which is really nice. Okay, so books was the first one. Sorry, I spent like 5 minutes talking about books because I am a nerd. The next one I kind of fell into, and I simplified my drinking. So I wouldn't say I've ever had like a problem with alcohol. I've always done like dry January, and like I have had no problems just like going cold turkey, not having my glass of wine. Like it's not a big deal. But I was finding that I was having a glass of wine like more nights than not, like just a glass of red, and that was it. And half the time I wouldn't even finish it, which is kind of why I ended up simplifying my drinking routine at night. Paring down, maybe use a better word than simplifying for this one, was because I realized like I don't think I love the taste of wine like I used to, and which is anyone who knows me, they think I'm crazy. It's not that I don't enjoy wine anymore, but like I wasn't really enjoying the glass of wine that I was having. It wasn't relaxing me that much. I think my anxiety this year has been a bit all over the place, and I don't think having a glass of wine helped. Let's put it that way. It might have even been hurting my anxiety, which like health experts would be like, "Yes, Shannon, you think." But we kind of see a glass of wine as relaxing, but it was not doing that for me anymore. And then if I had more than one glass, or even like a glass and a half, or like a large pour, I would have a headache in the morning, or just like not feel entirely right, because I'm 35 and apparently I have the tolerance of like a 99-year-old like who weighs 4 pounds, which is not me. I'm a 35-year-old who does not weigh 4 pounds, and I still would feel it the next day. And I was like, well, this is no fun. And it's also not worth it. And I had to really sit back and think, why am I doing this? It was kind of like a habitual thing, like ever since probably my mid or early 20s, I would have just like a casual drink in the evenings a lot of times. And I enjoyed that a lot for a while, and I don't feel bad about that, but I'm not really enjoying it that much anymore. And so I had to like make the conscious effort to be like, do I really want this glass of wine tonight? And so then I was like, well, I want to sip on something. Like I'm a sippy gal. So then Aaron started making lemonade this summer, and I would drink a lot of lemonade, which is like a lot of sugar, but whatever. It's not alcohol, and I didn't feel like crud the next morning. And then in the colder months, I've been having a decaf warm chai out of it, like a little mug, and that's been feeling cozy and sweet instead of drinking. And we've saved so much money on wine. Like between wine and books, I don't know why I'm not a millionaire. I should be, but I guess that's the plight of being a millennial. They tell us to just like cut down on our drink spending, or like our coffee budget, and we'll be able to buy a house, which is blatantly not true. All right, so I pared down books. I pared down my drinking. A big one is I pared down my schedule. You guys, last year was outrageous. So I was taking Jojo Jellybean, who is my 3-year-old daughter, to a preschool 2 mornings a week, which was from 9 to 12, 3 hours of school. It was a 30-minute drive from my house because I couldn't get her into any other school, because like military families, it's really hard, because by the time you wrap your head around where you're moving to, it's usually like almost the start of the school year for your kids. And so if you live in a place like we do, where you have to be on a wait list to get your kids into any form of childcare outside of public elementary school, then you're kind of screwed. And so last year, I finally got Joe into a school 2 mornings a week because she wanted to go to school, and it was 30 minutes from our house. Let's do some math. Let's do some mom math, people. 30 minutes to school. So we left at 8:30, dropped her off at 9. Warren, my 2-year-old, and I would drive all the way back home. So now it's been an hour on the road, and then we have an hour at home before we then have to start driving all the way back there, or an hour and a half, I guess, at home technically, which is nothing. So I was getting an hour and a half of childcare and having to be in the car for 2 hours a day driving. And then we would go straight from picking her up to then go pick up my son from elementary school, because he would get off at 10:45 in the morning. No, that can't be right. No, first, okay, nope. Let me rewind. Sorry, I forgot. It was like a different schedule last year, which is literally what I'm telling you, but my brain's not working. Anyway, this is crazy. We'd get home from dropping her off 9 o'clock. We'd be home at 9:30. And then Warren and I would have to get back in the car at 10:30. So we only had 1 hour, because Anders got out of his VPK, like pre-elementary or pre-kindergarten situation in the public school, at 10:45 a.m. And so we'd have to leave at 10:30, get him at 10:45. Josephine's doesn't get out of school till 12, which means we leave at 11:30. So now have like a 45-minute window That's very weird. What do I do for 45 minutes? So we would drive the 10 minutes back home. I'd get back with the boys at like 11:05 at our house. And then we'd have 25 minutes, at which point I would be like, please stretch your legs because you're going to be back in the car for an hour. Poor Warren was in the car for 2.5 hours every Tuesday and Thursday. An hour for Joe in the morning, 30-minute pickup for Anderson, just about, and then another hour to get Josephine. So I would like run home from getting Anders, try and shove, sorry, almost sounded like I said a bad word. I did not. Shove food in their mouths and then get back out the door to go get Josephine. I'd bring her lunch in the car so she could eat it on the way home. And then we'd get home at 12:30. And then their nap was at 1:00. It was so insane. And I got no break. You would think that like putting your kid in school is like somewhat of a break, and that was no break at all. And then we had like swim class, which was 40 minutes away once a week for the kids. And we had, gosh, I don't know, just dumb things. Like I was taking the dogs to the groomer, again, 30 minutes away from where we live. It's a long story. And for whatever reason, I was taking them at 7:30 in the morning with the kids in the car for like an hour-long round-trip drive to drop them off, and then doing that again at 4 in the evening until Aaron and I finally realized with our very small and puny brains that the dog groomer is like right next to where he works. So why is he not just dropping them off before work in the morning and picking them up after work? I don't know. Like we just like we're not using our brains. So I was doing this ridiculous schedule with the kids in the car. We were going to swim classes far away. We were going to the groomer far away. Our church is like not particularly close. It was so dumb. And so this year I was like, no. I mean, I guess that was kind of at the end of the school year last year that we were still in that schedule. So it's not like a 2023 thing. It's more like a school year start. But I decided pretty quickly that this was going to be a new schedule. And so luckily we got the kiddos into like a new school that's 5 minutes away. Anderson's in kindergarten. He's there till 2. It's all just like a lot better this year. And Aaron takes the dogs to the groomer. And some of that might sound like luck to you. Like we just fell into an easier schedule this year. But I mean, I put a lot of effort into making that happen. Like if you don't like the way your life looks and your routines look, sometimes even though you're having the worst time ever, you just have to like buckle up and like find the energy to change it. Because that's what I had to do this year. Okie dokie. Next one, social media. Also kind of fell into this one. My decluttering journey has really took root when we moved to Florida because again, I've said this before, it was like part of my coping mechanism in terms of not being as stressed. I was like, great, yes, let me get rid of everything in my house so I don't have to deal with it. And in that, this year, I was like, why am I following certain people on social media? So I unfollowed every fashion influencer except for the 2 that I love. And I feel like I know them even though they don't know that I exist. But I'm mostly following them for like their families. Mostly just to be a stalker, I guess. So I unfollowed fashion influencers. I actually made my personal account private this year and I went through every single follower. I think I had like 3,100, I don't know. I had over 3,000 followers. And I removed, I think like 500 at least of them. I went through every single name. And if I didn't know who they were, I clicked on their profile. And if they didn't look like a mom, like a legitimate mother, female woman, I was like, I don't think you need to follow me. So I forcefully removed any men who were following me because that's creepy. Why do you need to follow my page? All I do is post pictures of my children, I didn't like it. And anyone who I don't know, I didn't get good vibes from, I removed all of them and then I made my account private. And so pared down my accounts in that way. I've always kind of been this way, but I like really made an effort to make sure that I was posting more than I was scrolling. Like I enjoy social media and I enjoy being in my DMs and having actual friendships with people on there. But like I don't love scrolling and I never have. I've always posted more than I scroll. People will be like, oh, did you see this on social media? And I'm like, I know you think I'm on there all the time, but I'm very selfish apparently because I don't look at people's stuff very much. I just post mine. I am a narcissist. Not really, but I just protect myself. And then I like really curated my feed to be only what I enjoy. So not only did I get rid of like influencers who were influencing me to buy things and do things I really had no business doing or buying, I realized that like it's not my job to take on the weight of the world. That doesn't mean that like social media activism isn't important, and it doesn't mean that I'm putting on blinders or like creating an echo chamber. Rather, I just like want to see funny videos of animals and like people dancing and like really funny memes about parenthood. And so I decided to not feel shame about that, to not feel like I'm not a I don't know, a contributing member of society by not like following all these accounts that tell me how to be a better person. Like, it's okay. I can use social media as a lighter experience for myself, and that's a personal choice. And so that's what I did. And now my feed is just like a bunch of ridiculous memes and reels, mostly Taylor Swift, actually. And I feel really good about that. So I pared down social media in that way. And then another big one, which I don't know if this is controversial, but I've been really careful to not follow shaming accounts in the simplifying space. So I started the Paring Down Podcast Instagram account, which has been so fun. I loved making the reels and meeting people in the simplifying space. But there's this weird intersection between like the minimalist decluttering space that I am in and the like judgy mom homeschooling world. And I don't say that like homeschooling is bad. I have a lot of friends at homeschool that are awesome and not judgmental at all. But there is, and we all know it, this side of the internet where moms are like, if you think that school is a welcome break for your parenthood and you want a break from your children, why did you have kids to begin with? And I'm like, well, A, I didn't know that they were going to be absolute maniacs that make me want to pull my hair out. And B, I was not built to play magnet tiles and cook and make sourdough. Like my husband was actually, he would be a great homeschooling stay-at-home dad. He would just like make sourdough with like all these beautiful different designs on the top and build magnetile towers that you could like literally sleep in. Like he would thrive in the judgy homeschooling mom space online, frankly. But yeah, no, not for me. And I don't have to feel bad about that. There's 0% chance that I love my kids any less than these people. And so anyway, I feel like I've been exposed to those accounts more often since entering the decluttering space, because there is this weird intersection with like a simple life and then like judgy mom, why do you send your kids to school accounts. And so I have really been intentional about paring down what I see on my simplifying accounts. Like I very much don't linger, comment, or do anything to give the algorithm any form of confirmation that I would want to see that kind of stuff. So there's that. Again, I hope I didn't offend anyone, because listen, if you're offended, then maybe you need to like take a look at how you're presenting your small-minded feelings about parenthood into the world. You know what I mean? And if you're not offended, it's probably because you have a very open-minded head on your shoulders and know that we're all built differently, and that's okay. Alrighty. I'm so annoying and like probably causing a lot of problems today. Whatever. We're in this like a weird limbo time. So anything I say doesn't count anyway. Nothing counts until the new year. All right. We did books, drinking, my schedule, social media. Next one, hospitality. Okay. So I'm a planner, and if I have people at my house, I want it to be like so much fun, which I think we mostly all do. But I used to overthink it and overplan it so that it was like kind of a stressful situation. So part of decluttering has been helpful, obviously, in the fact that I'm always way more ready to be hospitable because my house doesn't really get out of hand too easily. So like if someone wants to swing by, no biggie. If we're going to have people over this weekend, no biggie. It's not like I have to do a giant clean pickup of the house and I'm worried what anyone's going to think when they walk in the door. Like there's just not that much in my house to pick up anymore. So that's been really helpful. But I've simplified my hospitality in the sense that like I've really been focusing on the relationship aspect of it. Like people can come over and we will order pizza, and they can drink whatever we have in our fridge. I don't need to go to the store and get like a lot of different options for them. Like if they don't like Guinness, because that's like the kind of beer I drink, and if they don't like the wine we have, and if they want something other than water that is like not a libation. Libations are only alcoholic drinks, right? Did I just use that word correctly? I don't know. They can have water out of my Brita. And you know what? They won't care because I'm great company, all right? Like, it doesn't matter what you're drinking if we're hanging out. And I don't mean that like I'm being silly. I mean, hopefully I'm good company. But like the idea is that we're all together. And that's why we're together, is to be together. It's not so that we can have our favorite drink, you know? And so I've just simplified that. We even hosted Friendsgiving for our small group from church a couple weeks ago. And Aaron and I were like, let's just do this as simply as possible. Like, we set up a folding table in our living room because we don't have that much space at tables. And we did zero decor on the tables, none. I just got some paper plates, like the sturdy kind. Don't worry. I made sure there was plenty of room for all the Thanksgiving food. But like, I like got some paper plates, and that's all we did in prep. Like, people are like, wow, you're hosting Thanksgiving this weekend. Oh, wait, that's not true. That's not true. We did more to prep for that one because our house has needed a deep clean for like a good long while. And so I did take that opportunity to actually hire a cleaner, but she like dusted the fans and like wiped down the windows and like did our bathroom floors, which were all very much needed. And it wasn't really for Thanksgiving. It was just more like, we're doing Friendsgiving anyway, and I've been meaning to have this happen. So like, it would make sense to go ahead and get that done. But I wasn't really particularly concerned if our friends like licked our bathroom floor. Like, that's on them if they decided to do that, you know? So anyway, we did that. And then we had like the kids' birthday parties recently over here, and there were no juice boxes or homemade anything or goodie bags. There was nothing. Ariel, a princess, came to the party, which frankly, the kids did not care that they were drinking out of old cups, like paper cups that I've had for 6 years in a Tupperware container in the garage, and that I've been needing to get rid of. Like, they didn't care that they were drinking out of those because Ariel was here dancing with them. You know, it's all about distraction and simplifying. That's what I'm saying. Hospitality becomes less of a pain in your shorts when you just keep it simple and realize that it's about the relationships. It reminds me of Hygge. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I just like breathed really loud into the microphone. Hygge, Hygge. There, that's less overwhelming for the mic. Which I think I've shared on here before. I did in a recent episode. I read the book, and it's a Swedish, nope, wrong. It's a Danish term for like intentional coziness. And a lot of that really relies on just good company and a sense of camaraderie and calm. And I'm so pleased that like whenever people leave our house, they've overstayed and not overstayed. They've stayed like an hour longer than we expected or longer. And they say, oh my gosh, this was such like a chill, relaxing time. Like, I feel so refreshed. And I'm like, oh my God, we Hygged you. We did it. That's the goal of hospitality. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares that we just order pizza and drink water from the Brita. Like, it's fine. So I encourage you to simplify your hospitality because it'll make hosting people just like way more fun. And again, you can always be like, listen, just don't lick the bathroom floors and you'll be fine. The house is clean enough. Okay. The next one is expectations for my kids. I've really pared down what I care about when it comes to parenting. Like, are you healthy? Are you alive? Are you like generally keeping up with what your teacher's trying to teach you at school? Great. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Are you like mostly kind to other people? Are you hitting people often? Or like, are you developmentally appropriately sometimes pushing other kids in class? If that's the case, I mean, don't do it, but like, I'm not going to worry about it too much, you know? Warren has been ready to potty train. He's our 2-year-old for probably 4 months, but I'm not ready to potty train. So Warren, you will be wearing a pull-up until I'm ready. I'm not worried about it. I just don't need to get ahead of the game. And it's fine. He's fine. He doesn't care that much. He's not like living in soiled diapers. I would just rather not have to run him to the bathroom and deal with accidents right now. It's just not on my list of things I'm looking forward to. Same thing for overnight training Joe. Like, when she starts keeping her overnight pull-up dry every night, then I will put her in underwear. When she still wakes up wet, well, I'm not going to worry about that. She can just keep wearing a pull-up, and then all of our problems are solved. It's pretty easy. Even with Warren, he's like started crawling out of his crib. And in the past, I would have like tried to get a toddler bed ASAP, and I would have been stressed because it's like affecting his sleep, which it did for like 4 nights, but I chose not to worry about it. I was like, whatever. Like, he's going to be up a little bit more. And so we're going to be up a little bit more. And then he's going to figure it out. And he did. He's great. I mean, he's still in his crib, and he's going to get a fire truck bed for Christmas. And then it'll be another night of no sleep. 4 nights of no sleep is what I was trying to say. And then he'll figure that out and we'll move on with life. I feel like with my first and even a little bit with my second kids, I like tried to respond immediately to these changes and was like worried about things sometimes. And now I'm just like, whatever, dude, which has been really relaxing for me. What else? Like Anders, I let him sleep in instead of going to school after his birthday party day because he was really tired. And like, I never thought I'd be the kind of mom. I mean, mind you, he's in kindergarten. It's not like he has a calculus test he needs to get to. But I was like, he can just sleep in. That's fine. And so we took him to school late. And while we were on the way to school, I wasn't rushed trying to get there, and something happened, and I like literally pulled over into a parking lot because I needed to do something on my phone for work. And I wasn't worried about the fact that he was going to be another 10 minutes late because I was working on my phone. He and Joe like sang Disney songs in the back seat while I did what I needed to do in the Home Depot parking lot. And then we went on our merry way. And that just like doesn't track with old Shannon. Old Shannon would have been like, he's not going to be late to school. Or if he's going to be late to school, I'm going to be rushing to get him there the second he wakes up. New me, Home Depot parking lot. Anyway, okay, other things like, getting Anders to ride a bike or whatever. I'm just letting it go. Expectations for my kids, only if it feels good to me. I still care about them riding a bike someday. And of course, like, it doesn't mean I don't care about my kids. It just means I care less. No, I care less about the rat race. Okay, I'm going to end with 2 that are like a little bit more tangible, a little bit more like decluttery, rather than simplifying or paring down. So paper. I really decluttered and simplified paper in the house. So instead of flyers, just because how schools, I don't know if you know this, schools have decided that they're going to do a different event at least 3 times a week. And they will dictate what your children wear to each event. And it's a lot. I'm like, can we just like recognize that most parents are working and like we aren't just like putting them into school for funsies. Like they're there to learn. And I love that you want to do like fun little events for them, but also why am I expected to remember all of this random stuff that then if I don't include them in, if I don't remember to get them dressed a certain way or to bring a certain thing to school or to whatever that day, then they feel left out. It's like, it makes me so mad because I'm like forced to participate on behalf of my poor children's feelings. But anyway, so I haven't just like thrown my hands in the air and been like, no, you don't get to do Spirit Week. Like, I'm not a monster, but I don't want these flyers everywhere. So what I've done is I've created a new folder in my iPhone and I take a picture of a flyer whenever they send one home. And let's say, it's the Christmas season. So of course there's even more than usual. And I take a picture of the flyer and it says kindergartner staying at 9:30 on Wednesday on this date. Okay, great. That goes in my thing. And then I go to that date and I very quickly on my iPhone in the calendar put 9:30 Anderson sings at school. And I set an alarm for that. And then I tell Alexa to set an alarm for that. Like that morning, I'm like, Alexa, on this date at 8:30 a.m., please remind me that Anderson sings at school at 9:30. And then if I have any questions about it, like where it is, what's he supposed to wear, all of the stuff that's on the flyer to make my life difficult, I just go to my little phone and I open my flyers folder that I took a picture of the flyer in, and I find that flyer and I do all the things it tells me I need to do. And so that's how I handle it. It goes in my phone on the calendar. I tell Alexa to remind me, and I throw away the flyer. So I don't have a million of them on the fridge anymore trying to remind me of my 3 different kids in their 3 different classes with their 3 different million events that are going on. You guys, it's too much. It's too much. Even the 2 little kids that are in the same school, their classes do things on different days. Warren's Christmas party was this past Friday. Yesterday was JoJo's Christmas party and her class. Today, her teacher wanted to celebrate her birthday, to which I said, can we not? Like, she already had a birthday party at home, and then she gets to have another one kind of on Christmas Eve because that's her real birthday. This would be her 3rd birthday party. Like, she just doesn't need to celebrate with her classmates. I said that to her teacher nicely. And I was like, here's the deal. I'm not bringing cupcakes. I'm not doing anything. You can sing happy birthday to her during snack time. And then this morning, I realized we still had leftover cake from her birthday party on Sunday. And so I like brought in a half-eaten cake And I put 4 candles and a lighter in a plastic bag. And I was like, if you want to stick these 4 candles in this half-eaten cake to sing happy birthday, be my guest. But like, here's some cake if you want to celebrate. That was the level I was willing to do, because there's so many. They had a Polar Express day. They had to wear pajamas too. And I'm not like saying that this is bad. Again, I'm grateful for all the hard work teachers put in to make this time of year and the whole year special for the kids. I'm just saying that from the perspective of a parent, it's a lot. And so, yeah, so that was Friday was Warren's party. Yesterday was JoJo's party. Today was her like birthday situation. She shows up in a dress. Everyone else is in pajamas. And I'm like, what have I missed? Apparently today was another pajama day. Tomorrow's ugly sweater Christmas day. It's also the day that Anderson sings at his school, his kindergarten show. And then the little ones are out of school Thursday and Friday, and Anderson gets out early release on Friday, and he's supposed to wear pajamas to his school on a Friday for Polar Express day. No, that's on Thursday. And then Friday is early release. Like, what? Anyway, I'm off track. The point is paper. All of these things have a flyer. Every single one of these events that I've told you about has a flyer. And I just put them in my phone now. I don't have them sitting around my house staring at me, mocking me for what my life has become because I chose to have 3 children. Okay. Anything else? Alexa, pictures. Yep. Okay. I told you all of that. I also file everything immediately away instead of using a paper tray. I used to think I was so organized by having a paper tray for like things like mail that needs to be addressed. And then I realized that they would just sit in the paper tray and die, and we would never address them anyway. And so far, like the IRS hasn't come for us. So like now things just get filed immediately or go into the trash can. And if Aaron really needs to take care of something, like it's clearly a bill that like for whatever reason didn't get paid or something, I take a picture of it and I send it to him, and then I throw away the rest. And I'm like, he can probably figure it out with just a picture. And that's that. So I encourage that approach. I mean, I don't, if you are like, I don't know. I don't want you to like get in trouble with the government for not responding to mail, but listen, it's a lot. The last but not least, oh my gosh, I've been talking for 37 minutes at the speed of light about, okay, again, we're just going to give me a pass because this period of time in the year doesn't count as reality. Last one, the thing I decluttered this year is a linen closet. I decided I did not need as many backup sheets per bed. So even for my kids' bed, you have 1 backup sheet. That's it, except for the guest bed. We don't have any backup sheets for them anymore. Sorry, people. I don't know why. I'm like, why? I don't have anyone who would need to stay long enough that I need to like change their sheets halfway through their stay. Like, first of all, this isn't a Hilton. Second of all, I don't know people who are coming to stay at my house longer than like 3 nights, and it's my dad, and he doesn't care. He's probably gonna just fall asleep on the couch anyway. So no backup sheets for the guests. Towels, same thing. Why do I need more than 2 towels per person? Even that is like a little excessive. So Aaron and I each have 2 towels. Actually, I think we have 3 total that we like rotate between the 2 of us. And then I have 3 for the kids in their bathroom because honestly, they're gross, and their towels like fall on the ground, and I don't even know what they do with those towels. So there's 3 total though for my 3 kids. So again, not that much. And then we have like beach towels. And if we run out of like regular kid towels because they've done something gross with all 3 of them at the same time, which is, not uncommon, then they just use a beach towel for a night or 2. And then my linen closet is a lot happier. Same thing for blankets. I don't really keep blankets in the linen closet, but it kind of like feels like it's part of this situation. I have really pared down on blankets, which was hard for me because anything cozy, I want all of them. So blankets are the ultimate cozy coz. And so I used to just want a lot. But now we have the 2 that I love, that I spent more on than I normally would spend on a blanket. I think they were like $85 on sale. Shout out to Krista Horton, her blankets. They're really cute. There's like smiley faces and daisies. And so I just got the really nice ones, and then I got rid of the rest except for 2 that live in baskets in the hallway that my kids are allowed to use for forts, and or if they need an extra blanket on their bed for whatever reason, they can use those blankets. And then mommy's nice blankets stay either on the couch or in the living room basket. And that's it. That's all, folks. That's what we got for blankets. So my linen closet and our blanket collection, I really pared down this year. Okay. I hope there was something useful in this episode for you. Like, I'm going to like say a prayer after we're done here and just be like, God, I don't know what I just said. Please let it actually help somebody, because to me right now, I feel like I just blacked out for the last 40 minutes, but yeah, a happy almost 2024. Like, where are we? Who are you? What's my name? You know, that's the vibe right now. We are heading out to Alaska. What's today? Today's Tuesday. I'm having to do forward math because obviously I'm not recording this the day that it's released. I'm recording this like a week-ish early, actually exactly a week early. And so I'm trying to figure out what my life looks like next week. Apparently in 10 days from now. So on Friday of the week you're listening to this, we are going back to Ketchikan, Alaska. So exciting. For about a week. We have a friend getting married up there, and Aaron is turning 40. So we thought this would be a fun little getaway for his 40th birthday. And also we want to keep our Alaska residency for many reasons. And we have to be there for 72 hours straight in the year 2024 in order to keep it for 3 more years. And so it just worked out. We're going to stay through the first couple of days of January to get that residency, support our friend getting married, renew and refresh my soul because Ketchikan is my happy place. So anyway, heading to Alaska. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful new year, and I'll see you on the flip side. You just listened to an episode of Paring Down with me, Shannon Leyko. If you enjoyed the show, it would mean the world if you can leave a review wherever you listen and share this episode with a friend. Those reviews really are what keeps a podcast on its feet for the long haul, and I will read every single one with a huge smile on my face, so thank you ahead of time. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe. Also, be sure to follow along on Instagram at Paring Down Podcast, where I offer lots of tips and inspiration for paring down, along with what's new here on the podcast. Till next time.